Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Red Devils Corner Kick podcast, a podcast dedicated to Manchester United Football Club. Before we get into the episode today, don't forget to hit subscribe, whether you're following on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. Also, don't forget to hit a follow, whether it's on Twitter, Instagram, and as well as TikTok. I know I've been saying I'll get a TikTok video out soon. But unfortunately, I haven't been able to. Uh, let's just get to it. Unfortunately, this is my second take to try and record this episode of the podcast. I know I tried to be here on Monday to discuss. A few things got away. Tried to start recording today. Got 30 seconds in, and then my whole computer just decided to crash. So I had a little technical issue. So it's the nature of the game. But yes, hope everyone is enjoying their week so far. So depending on where you are listening, it might be a beautiful sunny Wednesday. And you know, we're a day away from our match against Lyon, which I'm going to be talking about today as well. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about the good old fashion 4-1 butt kicking that United got on the weekend against Newcastle. Listen, to all the fans who wanted to win, I was one of them, don't get me wrong. I'm always going to a game hoping for a W, but unfortunately, sometimes it just doesn't work out. But to the fans, I shouldn't say expected the W, but to the fans that knew this game's importance didn't have significance, which it didn't. Let's be fair. Like we're not going to go up any higher because Crystal Palace has been playing well. So has Brentford. Don't get me wrong. I've done episodes where I'm just like, you know what, if they did this, but sometimes that doesn't work out. In this season, it's not worked out well for United. Listen, it's hard to describe because again, a lot of channels went into this and basically said, actually shouldn't say channel. I would say some channels, even some fans. Many of them, like myself, knew like we're hoping for a win, but those same people knew if we had lost, we would be okay with it because again, going to this game, we were looking at rotation. And listen, my lineup was a little different than what Amron went out with. I did a back three of Binder, Maz, Maguire, Lindelof, Delo, Ugarte, Bruno, Dorgu, Mount, Garnacho, and Xerxes. We definitely didn't get that. We had Euro starting instead of Maguire, Harry and Mass starting instead of Dorgu. Bruno was there with Garnacho, and Eriksson was starting as well instead of Mount. And listen, the first half was not bad. We did get the equalizer. It was, Newcastle was the better team. They were pressing, they were getting things off. Man United couldn't play out of the back. We were looking at long balls. Mistakes were made from Binder, and I'm well aware of everything with Onana. And listen, things just didn't work out well. And when the second half started, it just, it did not go the way that we wanted. Xerxes made a fabulous run. Let's just say it there. The open space, the way he moves the ball, his feet, and then you get that hamstring injury. It just summed up like the way the season's been going for United. And again, brilliant footwork. I really enjoy his footwork. And it sucks that had to happen, especially when we're limited on an attack in Europa. So that's where we're going to struggle. So we'll see. But in the end, everything fell apart. Second half, just going. Yeah, it just all went downhill. Like Newcastle again was the better team. And I mentioned in my last episode, Newcastle had something to play for. They have a game in hand on most. They're playing their second game technically today. And they're going to be caught up with the rest of the league. But the advantage is that they're trying to fight for that Champions League spot. Remember, there's 5 spots now. So each spot is important going forward. So the next question is, will they seal it? And we'll see how it goes with the Newcastle game, because they're playing their makeup game now, or they will be playing their makeup game this afternoon. So we'll see. Going back to the game, yeah, Newcastle was just better than United. It's, in all fairness, yes. And the pundits and to some of those channels just ripping everything apart. Like, in the end, like, they were losing it. In the end, in my mind, I was like a loss, we'll take the loss. I'll take the loss. He made changes to help with rotation. You had Harry Amass starting first match too, and I'm very thrilled for that. I'm very happy for him, to say the least, having him start his first Premier League and playing on the road as a start. Yes, I was happy with Harry Amass getting that. Listen, it was a nice goal by Garnacho. There's movement going, like there was dry spots there, and listen, things happen. It happens. Like, we saw it there, but in the end, Newcastle was better. You saw the things fall apart and everything went wrong in the second half. Mistakes by Bayender, mistakes by the defense, mistakes by everyone just making poor passes. And listen, I know I talked about the Onana goals last week, and I even threw in, like, listen, even there's defensive mistakes as well. Like, you can't just put everything on Onana for those goals. There were defensive mistakes as well. And now everyone's talking about the Thierry Henry comments about Lenny Euro. They're talking about, the pundits making their comments about these players and giving their, like, I do apologize for the language. Like, who gives a shit? Like, I am so sick and tired of these pundits making just, there are unnecessary comments. They really are. Let's just call the elephant out in the room. They're so unnecessary comments. Yes, you can say what you want about the Terry thing against Lenny Euro. You can say the stuff about Roy Keane, Gary Neville, Talk Sports was brutal. I saw one segment today, and the talks about Amram and his tactics, trying to get rid of, I do this podcast because I love the club, and even the fan base, I'm getting sick of from time to time. And sorry if you're listening. Just the toxicity of everything, just it gets on my nerves now. And it's just I know the pundits need to make news. I know Talk Sports needs to make news. BBC, ESPN, they all need to make a headline. And obviously, when you see the headline, it's always great when United are failing and all this stuff. And you're just man, just shut up. I do. And listen, firing the manager doesn't get anything done. We've seen that through. It's just been a carousel. I was Ten Hag in. I was Ten Hag in from the beginning. I liked Ollie. Marino, it was, up or down. Louis van Gaal, definitely a no. David Moyes, you never knew. But we and I like what Ruben's doing. I like what Ruben has been trying to establish. And to have the fans be he needs to change the tactics. He needs to go back to a back four. We had Ten Hag come in and say these players can't play his system. You have a coach who's coming in, like Amarim, who's going to put his system in his formation. You know what? And here's the thing. The formation is fine. He may have to play tactically differently in that formation, which people can just get over with. But he's going to stick with it. He's going to stick with his guns. And you know what? I'm 150% okay with that. I am. Just leave it. He's not going to change. Into a back four, who are we going to put in our back four? De Ligt's injured. Heaven's injured. Maguire is struggling. Or he's kind of fighting off a knock. I shouldn't say he's struggling. He's been playing well. Euro, Maz out on the outside. We have no Lisandro Martinez. He's injured. Heaven is injured. Who are we putting in the back four? Why are we going to a back four? The one thing too is I was wondering, on Sunday, I was when I saw the squad, I was Cheeto Obi's not playing. That was a little concern. I was hoping that he was going to be there, get some playing time, but he wasn't. We don't have him from Europa. But it's like I'm a little I'm a little done with it. Like every time the media is like, just, let's just go through. And it's not just the media. Sometimes it's our fan channels. It's our fans. Everyone is just, and guys, like, to be fair, I know we're upset with the loss, but look how good Newcastle was. Look how well they moved the ball. Look how well they pressured it. They took us apart. And we know what the player, like, this isn't new, ladies and gentlemen. This team isn't new. Like, we've seen the struggles like the last couple months, even when Ruben came in. And I've mentioned here, we have seen progress. Do not take that away from what I'm saying. And I know I'm probably sounding like a hypocrite. Yes, we have seen progress. We've seen what the squad has done. And we laid an egg. Could have been a carryover. And you know what? I don't even think it was a carryover from Thursday. I think it's just, we just imploded in the second half. I really do think that. We imploded in the second half. We had opportunities in the first to score. Xerxes had a nice shot. Bruno, like, let's not pretend that we didn't have opportunities here. Just everything fell apart. It did. But these are the same players that you were cheering on and celebrating when we beat Leicester 3-0, ladies and gentlemen. How many of you thought that United was back after that win? Come on. Let's just slow our horses here, ladies and gentlemen. Like, come on. It is like, we knew what the squad was, and we knew rotation was happening. We knew not all the players were going to be playing. And yes, Xerxes' injury hurts us, and it hurts us really badly, especially in depth going into Thursday and potentially future on, because we don't know when he's coming back. And I'm doing the Lyon preview tonight as well. That's going to be my next segment and everything as well. So, but yes, I did lose it. I'm just done with it. Like, what? Like, these pundits and are like, oh, like the same thing again. Like, guys, like, they're not changing everything. These pundits think they have so much power to try and control and get everything changed like it has been before. Ruben's like, I want Ruben to stay, and I don't want anyone interfering. Like, yeah, that's my rant. I feel like the last couple episodes I've had to go off on a rant. I have, and it's, I do this for fun. I'm, don't get me wrong, I criticize the players, but after the match, and just like, we lost. I moved on from it. Like, let's focus on Europa. I wasn't the only one. Like, Spurs lost. Like, and Spurs are having a worse season. Like, Spurs having the same equal season as we are. But, what else is, like, let's just, excuse me, just, yeah, I don't have any words to continue on for this segment. It's like, how do I transition next? But things just didn't work out. And yeah, criticize all you want. We lost. Just you don't have to point out like, oh, Euro turned his head and is looking at the ref. Like, come on, just like, do you have to nitpick a 4-1? Like, I would have loved to have seen, like, I would like to rewatch the Monday night, probably the day after we lost to Liverpool 7-0, and just watch them nitpick. Yeah, we got our butts kicked. Second half, just, we tore apart. Mistakes were made, short passes were done, wrong foots were used. So be it. Just, yeah. I know it's pundits' jobs and got like Talk Sports, everything, BBC, all of them, Sky. You have all these people criticizing. Like, in all fairness, I'm looking to see what the overlap is going to say on Thursday now. It's like, what's the topic going to be today, and how much is Gary and Roy going to talk about how horrible United, like, come on. And like, let them criticize. Just, you know what, if there's a United player listening to this podcast, and like, I'll be honest with you, I highly doubt there is. I highly doubt. Take whatever you're hearing and use it as motivation, and just win and have everyone just shut up. That's what my answer is to United players. If they do listen, use it as motivation. Don't criticize back. Don't yap back. Just use that ammunition and just win the whole damn thing. Yeah, just win it all. That's what I say. Just motivate. Play for your team, play for the badge, play for your manager, play for the city. That's all you need to work for. Play for your teammates, play for the manager, play for that badge, and then play for the city of Manchester. Everyone else just ignore. Well, and play for the fans too. Those are the 5 things you should be looking at here. Yes, 5. Yeah. Team, badge, manager, city, fans. That's who you like. Again, there are the fans that love that club, will bleed and fight and die for the club, and you support and you play for them. But yeah, those are the 5 things you should be focusing on, and use whatever criticism and everything as not as ammunition, but as a tool to help you play better, as your motivation to prove them wrong. That's what I'll say. That's how I'll leave it there with that segment. That's what I think it is. Yeah, leave it there. I think that was a good segment. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. My apologies. So, obviously, sorry for that horrible transition to the new segment here. It's just, yeah. Like I mentioned, play for those 5 things in the last segment. Okay. Just talk transfers quickly. Talks of Rashford returning, Sancho returning. The price for Anthony is still trying to be negotiated because I guess he wants to stay at Real Betis. And I mentioned Saturday, I was going to try and talk about Ruben and Rashford hashing it out. Listen, to me, it sounds like Jadon Sancho, Ten Hag 2.0. We'll see how that plays out. We'll see if maybe Rashford has found himself again and regained found himself again, the player that he was. Maybe something at Aston Villa sparked him saying, hey, maybe this is who I should be. Maybe I need to come back for that. So maybe we'll see what happens with Ruben, if they can hash it out. If he is able to get himself squared back to who he is, then he can do what Ruben says and play this without complaining. So be it. Let it be. But again, I've been listening to the audiobook of Sir Alex, and like I said, and I always love the comment in there. Never make yourself bigger than the manager and the club. And if Rashford understands what he has done, and how he's made himself bigger than the club and bigger than that manager, not just Amorim, Ten Hag as well. Ten Hag who has had faith in that kid, no matter what he was going through. Like, if he realizes that he should not be bigger than that, and he's willing to fight and work his way back, he does not get a starting position back, but he's willing to work his way back into the good graces, then we'll see how it goes. But, and then there's now talks of Man United being the favorites to sign Liam Delap. 2 days ago it was Chelsea. Now we're back to United, and I'm sure tomorrow it's going to be like, well, we're second fiddle again. Kuna, there's no talks about him being signed. There are questions now about the attitude of Kuna as well, especially when you're seeing certain social media posts. So we'll see there as well, plus the money, like 100 million for if you want the Lap and Kuna. And the question is now is the sales of certain players to raise money to get certain players. Like I mentioned, if funds are an issue, please look at the free transfer market. Look at what you can get for Rashford, Anthony, Sancho, because now there's talks about that kid coming back. You may have to sell Garnacho, and I think that's what I was looking at because there's reports of a new contract coming out in the next couple of weeks. So we'll see. But just wanted to spark that little segment there, just catching up on free agencies. I know I didn't talk about it. Obviously, with the Rashford news, we'll see. Again, summer transfer is a month and a half away. So actually, it is the 16th of April. So yeah, 5 weeks. We'll say a good 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks until the season's done, and then the Man United are off on a tour in Europe. We'll see how limited that is, especially with Nations League, and some Portuguese players on our squad will be there. But yes, it's going to be an interesting transfer window. And again, I can go into more depth, but that's going to be another dedicated episode as well. So as we get closer to the summer transfer window, more things will open up and more to talk about, because that's what it is. That's what my summer season is going to be, is talking about free transfers, who to go for. So, but, I think now everything is just, I think, a rumor, and I'm hearing things going back and forth. Xavi Simons is now entering the conversation. It's we're seeing, rumor mills coming, and nothing's really guaranteed, because there's talks that Onana was leaving for Saudi. Now there's reports saying that he wants to stay. Now there's reports that there was no real thought of selling him or anything. Again, there's so many reports coming out that it's just, mine is just, again, it's just a carousel of either misinformation or, not everything working in sync with the correct details. But I'm going to go now focus on what is going to be happening Thursday night. That is the game against Lyon, the second leg, which definitely is a very, very important matchup. Okay. Yes. Lyon is happening on Thursday. We do have injury concerns. Yes, Xerxes is out. De Ligt will be out. Heaven is out. I was reading an article from the Manchester Evening News. They're saying, seven players will not be there on Thursday. I was like, who the hell did we lose now? 7 players. They mentioned Lissandro Martinez and Johnny Evans and Ahmad. Well, we know those 3 aren't playing. Aiden Heaven was kind of questionable, but I believe I can't remember. Yes, he was in the lineup on Sunday as a bench player. So, like, you see Johnny Evans, Lissandro Martinez, and Ahmad. Those 3 are out. Okay. Mateus De Ligt is going to be out. We kind of figured that, because, again, we thought he just needed a couple games, but he is going to be out. Toby Collier, who's still been injured for a bit, is out. And then now Joshua Xerxes. I just love that reporting of 7 players out. Yeah, I believe 5 of them, 6 of them we knew was going to be out. I'm like, 5 of them we knew for sure. And we were just wondering if De Ligt and Heaven would be available. Obviously, they won't be. So here we are. But listen, it's going to be an interesting lineup, because, again, we lose Xerxes and we don't have anyone else. Cheeto Obi wasn't registered. And I can't remember. I think it was just the way things worked that he wasn't eligible to be registered. Heaven was, but I think Cheeto Obi might have fallen into that little line there where I don't think he was eligible to be in Europa. So that struggles out for a little bit. So, listen, we need to win. We need to play hard. We need to forget what happened last Thursday. And I think, listen, Bruno is going to lead the way, and he wants to fight. I know that's what he'll do. You'll see stuff there with Delo. They need to fight, and Ruben knows, and he's had those conversations where they need to step up and realize how important this matchup is. And the lineup is going to be difficult. I know there's talks of Binder. I know, wondering if Onana, and I know there's rumors of Onana worried if he's going to be starting. And don't get me wrong, I posted saying Onana should be starting the next 2, including this Thursday. And listen, Binder made mistakes on Sunday as well, and it's hard to say what's going to happen. He's not going to go to Heat, and we know that. But what needs to know is who he's going to trust. And I know he said Onana had to just step away from Sunday. And I think Onana, I think no matter how well Binder played, I think Amram is still going to lead to Onana starting. And you know what? Like, I was a little frustrated last Thursday. And from what I've been hearing and everything and how Onana has been feeling, listen, mentally, I think he knows what he did. And I think hopefully he's going to hopefully he figures out, like, he needs the motivation to get himself back. And I hope that the mistakes that he made, he's going to use that as his motivation to get himself back in the right spot to play on Thursday. And listen, to our defenders that are going to be starting, listen, you need to fight for the ball. You cannot let Lyon take that shot, especially on the last one. Like I said last episode, that free kick, I know in the end it was an Onana who let it in because, again, it was his positional. But at the same time, too, when you look at the defenders in that free kick, none of them are making a shot into the air to try at least make an attempt to try and stop it. Some of them are worrying for the offside. Let's go, guys. The one, again, I will give the rebound on Onana, which led to the tie. But I'm also going to give it on those defense and mids who let that shot get off. There is no, how do I say this realistically? There's no discipline in the box. So, yeah, there has to be discipline on Thursday, and it has to be there. Every player needs to be on the same line. Like Maz, who had he kind of had a little bit of a bad game on Thursday. And yes, I just realized now as I'm recording this episode that I forgot to do my players of the match, and I'll discuss it at the end of the episode. But this is my 3 players of the match for Newcastle. Yeah, I realize that too, but every match I'm still going to point out 3 players that played well, even though the team did not play the best. But back to what I'm focusing on, Lyon. Listen, they need to be disciplined. They need to be disciplined with the ball. They need to be everywhere. So they have to be smart. Short passes, carrying it through transition from the back to the front on the counter. And the attack is going to be an issue. No Xerxes means ball movement is going to be an issue, which means what's Ruben going to do? You can't play, like, Højlund has to be there for 9. Like, he has to. If I am Ruben, I am planning out on who I can have sub in and who's going to be able to carry forward if we go into extras. Listen, Bruno, I know, will give us the full 150 minutes. We all know that. Same with Delo. Again, depth is an issue. That's the concern as well. We're limited on depth. Like, that's the issue. We have to win out in regulation. We cannot go into extras. Depth is the important thing here. So we will see how it goes. But again, my lineup, and I know and everything, is sure people are going to hate me for this. I'm going back to Onana, despite what I've said. I'm backtracking on what I said. I think my little tweet was a little, and again, with my episode on Saturday, I'm still standing with, like, the defense still has to be disciplined because, again, as much as Onana is in charge of those saves, and the first goal, again, position, second one, I'll give him the rebound, but the discipline in the box and getting those shots off, or letting Lyon get those shots off, was mistakes by us. So I'm going back to Onana, despite being under, and I think the way Ruben was leaning towards, I think Ruben was right to not let Onana start. I think he needed him to regroup and get himself ready for Thursday. And I think with the rumor mills of Onana being worried about not starting, all this stuff, I think Onana has to start. My back 3, Maz, Maguire, Euro. Maguire should be healthy, good to go. My middle, and this is how you're going to look at it here, Delo, Casemiro, Menu, Dorgu. You're wondering why. A, you're going to need Ugarte for a deep run. 2, Casemiro has been playing well. He was rested on Sunday. Menu, I think, needs to get the start, and I think him playing where Bruno usually would be that spot there. You can have him go to the 10, but I don't think he should be there. And then we'll look at, you have to see the transition there. And I think with the way things are, you have to have that with those. I think Casemiro and Menu together should be fine. They should be able to transition the ball and move it very well. My attack, this is where the issue is. I have Højlund coming off the bench. My 3 attackers are Ericsson, Bruno, Garnacho. You're going to take it similarly, like almost like a false 9, but Garnacho is going to be that striker. Think of me as a nut job when I just said that. But yes, that is it. Because the reason why is the attack and also depth. Because remember this, and my subs for this, depending on how you look at it, Hoyland, Ugarte, Mount, Shaw, like those Ugarte, like Hoyland, Ugarte, Mount, those are the 3 subs to start. If you're going to bring them on, you're going to bring on Hoyland for Garnacho. You can move Garnacho back to the attack and take Ericsson off. You can bring in Mount for Casemiro. You can have Ugarte come in for Menu, and you can have Bruno switch back to the pivot, and then you're looking like a similar attack like you had before. So that's something you can do there. I have Shaw and Amos potentially being subbed in just for depth and changes in the backfield. You have Lindelof as well. But that's the lineup that I'm going for on Thursday. Onana, Maz, Maguire, Euro, Delo, Casemiro, Menu, Dorgu, Ericsson, Bruno, and Garnacho. That is the lineup I'm going for. You might think I'm crazy, but that's what I'm liking it. That's what I think he should do. That's the only thing I can predict with that way, especially with the depth and trying to go into extras. That's how you're going to have to play it. Or, you do the reversal. You have Hoyland starting, Garnacho and Bruno together. And then when you're bringing on, let's say, Mount, Menu, you convert it to almost like a false 9 just to keep the attack going. Because, again, the speed of Garnacho, his finish, just needs to be there. Again, excuse me. But that's what I'm going to leave it as. That's what it's got to be, I think, just to start. Because, again, we got to get the win in regulation. My concern is depth. That's what it is. And I think speed right there, I think with the way Ericsson can control the ball and make the right passes, if Garnacho can get his shots off properly, I think the movement of the ball, the transition, if you use that speed, I think Garnacho, him in that 9 spot could be something special just for that. So, yeah, I'm winding down to the end of the episode here. Again, I know it wasn't a win, but I'll still give 3 players that I noticed. So, like there, again, Xerxes, the play, the movement with his feet. Harry Amos making his first start for an 18-year-old who just turned 18. Played very well. He fought. He showed his ground. And Alejandro Garnacho for the goal. That's what I'll leave it as, my 3 players. But yes, that is it for today's episode of the pod. Listen, we'll be back Friday or Saturday to discuss the next episode, probably Friday. It is Easter here, so not much time when we have a Sunday morning game. But yes, I will be back hopefully discussing a Manchester United win against Lyon. So we'll see that there. Again, if you haven't heard my lineup again for Thursday, Onana, Maz, Maguire, Euro, Delo, Casemiro, Menu, Dorgu, Ericsson, Bruno, and then Garnacho. That's my starting lineup for my squad for Thursday. So listen to, again, don't forget to subscribe, whether it's on YouTube, what's that other one? Spotify, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to follow on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok as well. I will be getting posts out too as well. But yes, kind of a rough episode today, but hopefully you enjoyed it. But again, have yourself a good Wednesday, because it is Wednesday now, very early in the morning. So enjoy the episode. I hope you enjoy the episode. Again, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Enjoy Thursday. Let's hope for a United win. And then enjoy your weekend as well, as we have a matchup on Sunday too. So again, have a good night. Good morning, depending on where you are in the world. Listen to the podcast. This is the Red Devils Corner Kick podcast. Glory, glory, Man United.